When you hear the word witchcraft, you probably think about pointy hats, cauldrons, or fortune-telling cards. Or maybe you think of something more new age, like herbs or crystals. Either way, you probably don't think about TikTok and how its witchy creators are changing the way we see spirituality and community.
So I was a sophomore in college, and one of my mutuals had said, "Oh, my friend practices witchcraft." And I was completely baffled by that statement. I didn't know that that was a real thing that you could do. And then COVID hit, obviously was sent home, not living on campus anymore. So I actually really began to dive deep into the practice. Let's see what my ancestral heritage has to say. And from there, I got into Italian American folk magic. And I'd heard about TikTok, and I really liked the idea of making really nice, aesthetically pleasing videos. And I accidentally stumbled upon WitchTok, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I kind of want to make a virtual diary of what my practice is and how it's growing. And it's fascinating to watch my first videos compared to where I am now.
The first video I would say to ever go viral was actually me talking about a product that I used from another mentor of mine, my aunt, Naima. And then there were questions flooding in about what magical properties it holds, what exactly is hoodoo. It grew into this following that I have now, where I have all these different platforms where I give out information, I give out mentorship. The content of WitchTok is very large and very vast. You can honestly find pretty much anything you look for. So there's folk magic practitioners like myself who are hoodoo practitioners. You have Italian folk magic practitioners. You have Germanic folk magic practitioners. Of course, you have the most popularized of Greek and Norse pagan. Then on the opposite end, you have some people who do simply crystal magic or herb magic.
Not only is the world of WitchTok vast, it's gaining a huge following, with TikTok recording over 24 billion views and thousands of videos being made under #WitchTok. To explain why this is happening now, we talked with Dr. Sabina Magyoko, a socioculture anthropology professor that has researched witchcraft and folklore practice.
This is certainly not the first time that magic and witchcraft have bubbled up to the surface in Western culture. This is maybe the third or fourth time that we've seen a bubbling of magic and witchcraft. So I would say this isn't new so much as cyclical. One of the things about the identity of witch is that it's inherently oppositional. When social expectations and standards are stifling people's identities or to even exist in the current financial and political climate, then claiming an identity that is the opposite of that can actually be empowering. And given the current situation, it's no wonder that a lot of people find that identity appealing. Now, the other piece of this in terms of identity is that some members of minorities are embracing their ancestral spiritual and magical practices as a way of reconnecting to their cultural identities that were often marginalized and devalued by the dominant culture. So for these practitioners, it's a form of decolonization. It's a form of revalorizing those identities.
My mother is a hardcore devout Catholic. And for her, I think what she appreciates is the fact is that I'm actually deep diving into our culture and learning a lot of things that for her, as the daughter of a first generation immigrant, was stripped away to assimilate her to the Americanization culture so that she wouldn't get bullied, so that she could live a prosperous and happy life without the stigma of being an immigrant's child. And for her, now that she's seeing what my Italian American folk practice is going into, my folk Catholicism, things like that, she really likes it.
The WitchTok community and the individuals I've met, they mean the world to me. These are individuals that even with our backgrounds being different, even with our experiences being different, it is a community of individuals where you can rely on each other. Now, talking about the TikTok community as a whole, it is a circus, if that makes sense. It's a circus. You have good acts, you have bad acts, you have people that are shooting themselves out of cannons with absolutely no protection. You have people that make some really bad choices on a public platform and will stand by those bad choices. And depending on the ticket you buy and what time you go, you may or may not get a good show. You have a lot of people who are on this app and they don't actually fully understand the importance of things like community, but also listening to people from backgrounds that differ completely to theirs.
People want a spirituality that fits them, that is very individualized to them. Now, on the one hand, this fits our lifestyle today. On the other hand, you can also have people really going off the deep end because there is no group in which they practice to say, hey, wait a minute, that part about the lizard people isn't part of our beliefs.
Even though the WitchTok community has problems that are common on any social media platform, there's something to be said about the value of spiritual growth, expression, and the creation of communities that can incite real change.
WitchTok has helped me grow within my spiritual practice because it's allowed me to work on my confidence, it's allowed me to work on interacting with people that are different from me and understanding my bias, my privilege, where I come from in my background, and how that not all practices are the same, but should all be respected equally, even if they are closed.
My growth is something that I see as more than just what's online, but also something that's going to allow me to put roots down and help others in where I am now. That is honestly my ultimate goal, is to heal the community that, after decades and years of neglect and being pushed aside, giving it a new life.